Many people know the name Louis Vuitton, but few know the story of how the iconic fashion brand came to be. This video will tell the inspiring story of a poor homeless boy named Louis who dreamed of becoming a successful designer. With hard work and determination, he eventually invented one of the most popular luxury brands in the world. This video is a must-watch for anyone who wants to be motivated by a truly rags-to-rich story. Everyone enjoys a good story, right? Get your popcorn ready and stick around to find out how the luxury brand Louis Vuitton was born. The most valuable luxury brand in the world, Louis Vuitton, is worth over $30 billion. Its beginnings can be traced to a homeless adolescent who could only fantasize of victory in the 19th century. He performed irregular jobs with artisans and craftsmen to sustain himself because he had no food or money. He hardly made any money, but he learned useful skills that helped him invent modern luggage and build a billion-dollar empire. Louis Vuitton was born and brought up in Ancay, France, in the 19th century. His parents were farmers and hat makers. France was still bouncing back from the Napoleonic Wars at the time, and many farm owners, including the Vuittons, were in financial trouble. Louis was compelled to work on the family ranch from a young age. He reared the animals, gathered firewood, and cultivated and harvested crops from dusk until dawn. Louis' life got worse when he turned 10 years old. His mother sadly passed away, and soon after, his father remarried. The evil stepmother of Louis was comparable to that of the fairy tale antagonist. Louis ultimately had enough of her horrible presence in his life. When Louis reached the age of 13, he discreetly escaped the farm and made his way to Paris without any food or money. Thankfully, Louis was able to secure odd jobs with artisans and craftspeople who showed him how to work with metal, stone, textiles, and timber. Even so, he ran out of money and had to live on the streets. He frequently dozed off in the woods, using nothing but a blanket as insulation. The first rail line to Paris had just begun its service at the time. Availability to travel increased and the sector began to flourish. Because of this, artisans profited by creating unique boxes for the upper class. They required boxes that could fit and endure lengthy journeys because they frequently traveled with art pieces, musical instruments, and decor. In order to prevent their possessions from tearing, they also needed assistance packing them in a specific manner. Louis decided to try and find work in the trade because he had picked up some of the necessary skills while traveling to Paris. Fortunately, Louis was taken on as a trainee by an artisan by the name of Monsieur Marical. Louis didn't make much money, but his determination to learn paid off in a variety of ways. He won the favor of Marical's patrons. Later, the Empress of France hired him to create boxes for her. Louis launched his first shop after working for the Empress for a year. Louis developed new product concepts early on that altered the industry norm. Conventional boxes at the time were rectangular and made of leather. The dome-shaped lid prevented water from penetrating the leather by allowing it to slide off the top. The boxes became difficult to store and time-consuming to stack as a result. Louis tried out different materials before settling on canvas to address these issues. Canvas was more water-resistant, sturdier, and lighter than leather. This made it possible for boxes to have straightforward, flat lids, which made them easier to stack and load. Additionally, even though waterproofing agents turned the color gray, they had a cleaner, more contemporary appearance. Louis made a wooden truck out of canvas material. His new item was the first piece of contemporary luggage. Although consumers were dubious about its benefits at first, it quickly gained popularity and established itself as a chic must-have fashion item. Later, Louis set out to accomplish the same feat using a brand new creation: handbags. At the time, the general public did not accept handbags. They were criticized for being ungainly, rugged, and dangerous for women by many people. Nevertheless, Louis began producing canvas handbags because he thought they had great potential. They quickly became popular, creating a need for more styles so that women could match them with various outfits. Ultimately, Louis was unable to keep up and turned to his son Georges for assistance. Like his father, Georges developed fresh concepts that altered the industry norm. He invented a tumbler lock to deter theft and transformed trunks into treasure chests. Before that, the majority of trunks had simple-to-pick locks. The family's goods gained even more popularity, but soon after, the flow of work stopped. The company was devastated by a war, which left Louis homeless once more. Louis' business was booming when the Franco-Prussian War broke out. In order to get the city, Louis and his family were compelled to flee their residence. They shared a small shelter with thousands of other refugees there. The Vuittons came dangerously close to going hungry because food was limited. Louis went back to his house after the war. His workshop had been destroyed and his components had been stolen. Louis didn't waste any time in restoring his workshop and locating a new shop site using the remaining funds in his savings. Fortunately for him, the war caused a decline in real estate values. Louis seized the chance and bought a store in a high-end neighborhood. After relaunching, the business quickly picked up again, and orders started to come in from all over the world. Louis was now compelled to try out fresh, audacious concepts. Innovation at the time allowed for the printing of unique designs on fabric. Louis was able to make a string of trunks encased in stripes. The new model gained popularity right away. It provided people with an opportunity to stand out and exhibit their modernity. Additionally, it made it harder for imitators to replicate Louis' creations. After that, Louis gained so many orders from abroad that he decided to open up a store in London. His customer base diversified as a result of the growth to accommodate more adventurers and monarchs. Louis gained notoriety as the one designer whose goods could be found in both luxurious mansions and far-off rainforests from that point on. Louis ultimately made the decision to publish his first archive in order to facilitate ordering. It was a sensible decision that would undoubtedly help the company grow. However, in that same year, a shocking disaster derailed Louis' plan. Louis, who was 72 years old, passed away unexpectedly in his home. His cause of death is still a mystery. Georges was now responsible for carrying out his father's incomplete initiatives. Georges made haste to expand the company and visit the World Fair in the United States. He realized that he needed a global sales network, and luckily for him, he ran into John Wanamaker at the fair, who could offer assistance. John was a forerunner in the development of the department store and price tag. He began promoting LV in his New York department store after meeting Georges. He became the first to bring the brand to the United States. His customers were astonished to see the emblem and products when Georges decided to design it in honor of his father. A floral pattern with an interconnected L and V. They were accustomed to only personalizing their bags with their own names or signature. However, as time went on, the new style became popular. After that, Georges and his son Gaston carried on Louis' legacy by developing new designs. The Key Pal, the No, and the Alma, a redesign of a Coco Chanel order, are notable masterpieces. The Key Pal is a bag for regular daily casual use. By that time, Georges had completed a nationwide tour and established a group of distributors. He was destined to expand the company to new heights, just like his father. But regrettably, history kept repeating itself. He passed away, abandoning Gaston on his own to carry out Louis' unfinished business. Gaston's luck was not good right away. Leases were terminated as a result of the outbreak of World War II. The production plant and shops of LV had to be shut down by Gaston, according to the author of Louis Vuitton, a French saga. Gaston became so distraught that he worked with the ruling party in Germany. It is said that Gaston authorized the creation of memorabilia busts and opened a store in Vichy. The author further asserts that LV was the only store permitted to remain open while stores like Van Cleef and Arpels were closed down. Later, a representative for Louis Vuitton said, "This is ancient history. We are diverse, tolerant, and all the things a modern company should be." Gaston gave the job of re-establishing the business to his sons Henry, Jacques, and Claude after the war. The sons made sure that new designs of suitcases were produced every year under their father's directions. But after Gaston's death, business slowed down. Hard-sided luggage lost some of its appeal. The management of the business divided Henry, Jacques, and Claude, so they asked Henry Racamur, the husband of their sister, to take charge. By that time, Henry had established and profitably sold a steel trading business. He converted LV from wholesale to retail and exploited the Asian market because he had an enthusiastic business acumen. Sales of LV rose from $20 million to over $260 million in just 6 years. Around that time, Henry made LV public. More than 1 million shares of the company's value were sold out. LV's share price began to vary wildly 2 months later. Analysts issued a warning that because of the rise in fake goods, sales might decline. Henry continued to open stores all over the world despite this. In a matter of years, he disproved the analysts. After nearly $1 billion in sales, LV merged with champagne and cognac maker Moet Hennessy to create the luxury goods multinational corporation LVMH. Both businesses wanted to avoid the possibility of an external power grab. While the acquisition permitted LV to increase its investment portfolio, Henry soon found himself in conflict with Moet president Hennessy's Alain Chevalier over management strategic choices. Henry asked Bernard Arnault, a real estate developer, to be his collaborator in an effort to take control. Bernard consented, but Henry soon discovered that Bernard had other goals. Bernard obtained support from the Moet and Hennessy's families in order to covertly acquire a controlling stake in LVMH for himself. After that, Henry and Bernard got into a legal dispute. Henry was forced to resign by the courts who favored Bernard. From that point on, LV lagged behind other high-end brands. Sales fell dramatically because it was a smaller company. No newspaper editor dared to praise the company in any way. Things didn't start to change until LV, under the direction of Yves Carcel, followed Louis' lead and came up with a fresh, audacious idea. For its 100th anniversary, the company asked designers like Vivienne Westwood, Isaac Mizrahi, and Manolo Blahnik to develop handbags with its monogram. Such partnerships were virtually non-existent at the time, and luxury handbags were non-existent. However, the partnership was well received and brought LV and handbags back into the spotlight. A designer named Marc Jacobs was hired by LV to serve as their creative director a year later. By introducing the company's first ready-to-wear line, creating the well-liked Vernus set, and working with prominent artists, starting with Stephen Sprouse and Takashi Murakami, Marc reinvigorated the company image. Since then, LV has continued to introduce recognizable bags while also branching out into watches, jewelry, and sunglasses. Additionally, the business keeps producing everything internally. 2 years are required for the training of craftsmen, and some pieces require 300 stages to assemble. Today, LV is the most valuable luxury brand in the world, valued at over $30 billion. Not too bad, I'd say. What are your thoughts on this rags to riches story? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe to Ultimate Luxury, like, comment, and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on future videos. See you in the next one.